So one thing I love doing on the YouTube community tab is asking you guys who the best player out of these group of guys are and seeing who you guys vote, and sometimes even fight in the comment section on who you think is the better player. So what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Over the last kind of honestly years, and I've been sporadic with that, but I've been pretty consistent with it over the last couple of months, I'll ask you guys on my community tab, both on this channel, the SROS channel, and on my 2K channel, 6 Rings of Steel, multiple poll questions, and we are going to be reacting to these today, and I'm going to be giving you guys who I think is the best player in that poll as well. I also want to give a shout out to BotX, who kind of recommended this in my most recent poll on the 6 Rings of Steel channel, where he says you should give your opinion on who you think is the best out of the poll at the beginning of your video. So yeah, I'm just making a whole video at this. We're going to be reacting to so many different polls that I posted. Let's get into it. So we'll start off with the SROS channel. We might go back and forth so it's similar time periods, but yeah, the most recent one I posted yesterday was the best player out of these three, and like when I get ones that are this close, I'm pretty happy with it. When it's a lopsided one, I'm like, that was a bad idea to do this poll, but it's Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, or Damian Lillard, and to be honest with you guys, I agree entirely. I think Jimmy Butler, after the playoff run he just had, has to be number one in this. But yeah, I'd obviously rather build around Devin Booker. He's like 10 years younger than Jimmy Butler. Not really. But yeah, like obvious reasons, I would choose to build around Devin Booker. But right now, after the playoff run he had, Jimmy Butler would be my number one. I think for now, Damian Lillard will be my number two, and then Booker at three. I don't even know what team Damian Lillard's going to be on next year, but with Kevin Durant next to Devin Booker, I wonder if his like points per games will change or his usage rate will change, as well as Bradley Beal into that fold. So I think for now, this is the correct answer, with Jimmy at one, Dame at two, Booker at three. The most recent one I posted on the 6 Rings of Steel channel was Paul George, Donovan Mitchell, or Anthony Edwards. And this was a good one, man. This was a good one. This was close. So before we even look at the percentages, because I don't know what they are, because I'm currently like on my SROS channel right now, so I can't see them. But you know what? I'm signing out of that so I can not see those. But yeah, this is between Paul George, Donovan Mitchell, and Anthony Edwards. And honestly, due to injuries, the way their careers are headed, like Donovan Mitchell and Anthony Edwards are going this way, Paul George is going this way, I honestly think I would take Donovan Mitchell over Paul George right now. But I know Paul George is the best defender out of these three. But is Paul George going to stay healthy? And I don't think Mitchell is too far behind George. Now, Mitchell has definitely had his defensive lapses in the playoffs. So honestly, I would say Donovan Mitchell one. I think like Paul George and like Anthony Edwards are obviously going in the different directions. And at the end of this year, I think Edwards would be better than George. But I think I would say Mitchell one, George 2, Edwards 3, but if I'm going by the end of 2024, I think it's Mitchell 1, Edwards 2, George 3. So let's see how it is. Wow. Paul George is still number one, 43 percentage points. We got Donovan Mitchell at 2, and at 3, I'm a little shocked, not gonna lie. I think I would have had Mitchell at number 1, but I'm still kind of happy that Paul George is still getting his respect because I grew up watching Paul George. I still want him to be as good for as long as he can. Also has a great podcast. I did a Celtics one the other day. Derek White, Marcus Smart, or Malcolm Brogdon. Honestly, the way Derek White played in the playoffs, I'd probably have him number 2, even though Malcolm Brogdon was the 6th man, but I do think Marcus Smart is number 1, and yeah, we kind of saw that one before. I mean, he just won DPOY. I'm kind of shocked to see Brogdon over White, but Brogdon was also hurt last year, so he might be better going forward. Next up, I have a young one here of Trey Murphy, Jabari Smith Jr., and Devin Vassell. I said best player. Sometimes I word these kind of vaguely, but I would say Vassell 1, Jabari 2, Trey Murphy 3, even though I love Trey Murphy. But if it's like ceiling-wise, it's Jabari, Vassell, Trey. I do think Trey is the lowest ceiling, but I think he fits so many other teams like better than maybe Jabari or Vassell. I don't know, though. Vassell's a good 3-and-D guy. So I'll say Vassell 1, Jabari 2, Trey 3. Wow. Okay, no, Trey Murphy and Vassell are very close to each other. Jabari Smith at 58% of the vote. Now, I think, like, if you're building around or long-term, this is how it should go, but I did word this vaguely. I meant, like, right now. All right, Jaylen Brown, Brandon Ingram, or Pascal Siakam, a 2016 draft one. I think I would go Brown 1, clearly. I know, like, the Supermax can't go left, can't dribble, but I would still have Jaylen Brown number 1. It's a good debate between Ingram and Siakam at number 2. I value what Ingram can do as a playmaker and just being more of a true wing and a better shooter, or at least it's been like that over the last couple of years. So I would go Ingram 2, Siakam 3, but Siakam, in my opinion, is the 3rd best power forward in the league behind Giannis and KD. So yeah, I would say Brown is number 1, Ingram 2, Siakam 3. All right, I agree with you guys, and yeah, Brown 70%. So whenever I do these, I'm like, like it wasn't a great poll since it was an overwhelming favorite. All right, this one I already see the percentage votes. Best player out of these three, Aiden, Claxon, Şengün. To be honest with you, I agree with this. I do think Claxon and Şengün could be better than Aiden very soon, and Aiden's kind of counting numbers will go down this year with Bradley Beal and a fully healthy Kevin Durant. But Claxon could be in the deep boy conversation. Şengün could just become Jokic light again this year. But I think I would agree with this right now because I value Claxon's defense over Şengün's playmaking at this moment for where they are in their careers. We got best team out of the West one. I did a team one here. Going into this season, I do think, this was a tough one when I did this because the Clippers still have the best top end talent with Kawhi and Paul George, but then you got Kyrie and Luka's probably the best player out of anybody on these teams. But Memphis has been so consistent, but Ja suspended. I think like going into the playoffs next year, like ending the season, I think I would go Memphis 1, Dallas 2, Clippers 3. I feel like the Clippers are just prone to either some regression or there's some injury scares, and they definitely have the highest variance out of any one of these three teams. So I'll go Grizzlies, Mavericks, Clippers, and that's what it ended up. I was very shocked when I did this one. The Knicks, Cavs, and Hawks, I was like shocked the Knicks didn't get more votes. And maybe I'm just being Knicks biased here, but the Knicks beat the Cavs last year. The Knicks added DiVincenzo. The Cavs added what? Georges Niang, Max Strus. And you expect Mobley and Allen to be better in the playoffs. I was just shocked it was 79% to 16%. Like I really thought it would maybe be 50% Cavs, 30% Knicks, 20% Hawks or something like that. But yeah, Hawks only at 5%, and people are high on the Cavs this year. This was a center one, best player to this four. We got a center one here, best player to these four, Miles Turner, Nick Claxton, Jarrett Allen. Miles Turner got the highest percentage votes at 41%. We got Nick Claxton lowest at 12, and then Jarrett Allen at 2, Gobert at 3. I was kind of shocked. I still think Gobert is probably the best center here, unless we see Miles Turner be like the clear-cut best offensive center out of these four, which he's pretty much been throughout like all these guys' careers. Like he definitely has at least a jump shot. None of these other centers have one. So I'm okay with Turner being the highest. I just think Gobert should be too, because I think Gobert is still better than Jarrett Allen. It's just Gobert isn't likable. That's probably why he was number 3 here. Okay, this one I did right after the Lakers signed Christian Wood. So I was like, oh, how much are people going to like Christian Wood? And then I threw some other youngins like Patrick Williams, Quickly, and Green. I honestly don't know why. Kind of a hodgepodge of guys here. But yeah, Christian Wood got 52%. Quickly got 34%. Patrick Williams, 8%. Josh Green, 6%. Josh Green's underrated. But if we're being honest, Christian Wood isn't the best player here. It's Emmanuel Quickly for what he does on both ends of the floor. I honestly value Patrick Williams' defense, I think, more than Christian Wood's offense. So I would say like Quickly should be number 1. And then I think Josh Green, Christian Wood, and Patrick Williams should all be very close to each other. Not this huge discrepancy between the three. We got which player are you building around? Paolo Banchero, Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, LaMelo Ball. Paolo was number 1. We had Cade and LaMelo tied for number 2, and then Mobley last. I think for Mobley's skill set, I'm perfectly okay with Mobley being last. I think I'm also good with Paolo Banchero being 1. This was after a big, I think, Team USA game as well, so obviously there's kind of recency bias narrative pushing there. But I think like a big decision is, or a question is, Cade or LaMelo for 2 and 3. And honestly, it may be kind of a hot take, but I would take Cade Cunningham over LaMelo if I'm building around those players. I mean, I wouldn't take contract into consideration because after this year, Cade will get a massive contract in the 2024 offseason. But I think he's projected to be more of a better defender, maybe a smarter shot selection guy. But like Cade isn't like a knockdown shooter by any means. I just think his defense will be there and maybe just as good of a passer and like overall playmaker and just score as LaMelo. All right, here's one we don't know the percentages. Best player to these three, De'Aaron Fox, Jaylen Brown, Trae Young. I still think Jaylen Brown would be number 1 out of these guys. I would value his defense, his two-way ability on the perimeter. I think Fox versus Trae is a good question. Now, Trae has had more playoff success, but Fox is better on both ends of the floor. So I would go Jaylen Brown 1. I still think I'll give a slight edge to Trae Young 2, and then De'Aaron Fox 3. And wow, Fox 12% more than Trae Young. All right, I completely get why. Here we go. We got best player out of these three. Austin Reeves, Jalen Green, Josh Giddey. Austin Reeves is actually good, guys. Like, I'm not going to say Austin Reeves, I mean, like, he's going to be overrated because he's on the Lakers. He plays with LeBron. But he's one of the more, I think, actual good guys that came out of playing with LeBron. I think he would be good on any team. We saw it on Team USA how good he was playing FIBA without LeBron, but obviously on a great team in general. I would say, right now, I would say Giddey is the best out of these three. Reeves 2, Green 3. I do think Reeves is better than Green on September 16th. Who would I rather build around? Jalen Green. Who do I think has a higher ceiling? Jalen Green. Who do I think will have the better career? Jalen Green. But I think on this day, Austin Reeves is better. But I do like Josh Giddey. I think he's put up some great performances. We saw him put up a monster performance in the play-in tournament. I would say he should be the best. And yes, that's what the voting was. All right, I'm glad you guys agree. All right, best player to these three. Triple J, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson. So Triple J did not have a good FIBA World Cup tournament. Was not a good rebounder, but he obviously is the best defender in the league last year because he just won D-Boy. Mikal Bridges or Jalen Brunson? I think I'm going to be a little bit biased. Like, I'm going to always lean towards Jalen Brunson because I'm a Knicks fan and, like, I love Jalen Brunson. I think if you look at this from an objective point of view, I mean, you probably value Mikal Bridges' elite two-way wing ability. Brunson's a good scoring point guard. I don't think he's a liability on the defensive end by any means. So I would say, honestly, I do think Jalen Brunson's offense is more valuable than Jaren Jackson, but he's like the best in the league at defense, so it's hard to say that. Like, I can't take myself seriously saying that. This is a tough one. I'll go Mikal 1, Triple J, Jalen Brunson, Triple J 2, Jalen Brunson 3. I won't be biased, so let's see. Wow, Triple J 1, Mikal 2, Brunson 3. We got Drew Holiday, Karl Anthony Towns, Zach LaVine. I think this is an easy number 1, and I think it's Drew Holiday for what, like, he gives you on the both ends of the floor, especially on the defensive side of the floor. I think Zach LaVine is 2, Karl Anthony Towns is 3. Wow. I do think LaVine gets a bad rap. People think he's like inefficient shot chucker. He's not, and he's been healthy as well. People do think he's injury prone. So I disagree. I think I would have LaVine 2. Cat 3. All right, best center to these 4. We got Mitchell Robinson, Jakob Poeltl, Onyeka Okongwu, and Naz Reid. Mitchell Robinson, 47% of the votes. Jakob Poeltl, number 2. Naz Reid, number 3. Okongwu, number 4. I was honestly shocked when I remember seeing this, that Mitchell Robinson got that much love. I think I would have... I don't know. I thought Naz Reid was maybe going to be number 1. But yeah, I'm cool with Mitchell Robinson being 1. I think Poeltl... You know what? I think this is actually perfect. I think if Okongwu got more playing time and Naz Reid, they would be better than Mitch Rob and Poeltl, though. All right, next up, we have Robert Williams, Şengün, Claxton, and Robinson. This is a center poll. Yeah, if we're going Claxton's like defense more valuable than Şengün's playmaking, I'm cool with that. Robert Williams, I do think like has the chance to be the best out of these 4, but he gets hurt a lot, and he does have offensive limitations, like Mitchell Robinson definitely does, and I think rightfully so. Him coming in last is good. We have another center one. Wow, I really love doing these. Miles Turner, Jared Allen, Brook Lopez, or Aiden. So yeah, Allen ahead of Turner here. I think Turner is better than Jared Allen because the main thing about Jared Allen is his rebounding and defense. Now, he's a better rebounder than Miles Turner, but Turner is a better offensive threat and a better rim protector. So I think Turner should be at least number 2, with Lopez being at 1. Aiden being at number 4 is interesting. Surprised to see Aiden behind Jared Allen. We got best center again out of these 4. Wow, I just love doing these center ones. I think, okay, actually, we're going to get into these positional ones because I was wanting to see your guys' opinions when I was doing my ranking videos. Like, this is pretty much where I had these guys close to each other, and I wanted to see where you guys had who ranked, basically. So, Vucevic, Capella, Adams, or Valanciunas. I actually think Vucevic is the best out of these 4. Wow, Steven Adams. Just 2% behind Vucevic. I'm surprised. I thought Capella would be higher than Adams, but I'm not shocked to see Adams higher than Valanciunas. So I am shocked to see Valanciunas higher than Clint Capella. Best power forward out of these 3, we have Siakam, Triple J, Cat. Well, I said Pascal Siakam's the 3rd best power forward in the league. Wow! All right. I do think Siakam is better than Cat. I do think he's better than Triple J. And seeing a 42% difference is actually pretty shocking. So yeah, Siakam, number 2. Jaren Jackson Jr., 63% of the vote at number 1, and Cat at 3. I did best centers out of these youngins: Wemby, Şengün, Holmgren, Duren. Honestly, I'm pretty content with this one as well. I wouldn't be opposed to putting Chet in front of Şengün, I think, by the end of this season, because I think Chet's defense is going to be that good. So I'm cool with this. And you guys know I love Jalen Duren as well. So I don't think it's a knock on him for being number 4. We have Evan Mobley, Banchero, Draymond Green. This is a tough one as well. I think, honestly, oh man, because Mobley was top 3 in DPOY voting this year. Draymond is still so important, but I do think that I think Mobley's better than Draymond. I think Banchero is better than Draymond already. I know, like, Draymond is just so important to Golden State, though. So he's kind of, like, in his own tier of players, his own class. So I would go Mobley's the best. Yep, it went Mobley, Paolo, Draymond. We got best power forward: Cam Johnson, Jabari Smith, Kyle Kuzma, Jeremy Grant. I would say out of these 4, I like Jeremy Grant, I think, out of the 4. Yep, it goes Grant. I would say Kuzma. I would say Johnson and Smith being the worst out of the 4 right now for sure. We got OG Anunoby, Franz Wagner, Scotty Barnes. I think Franz is the best out of these 3, with OG being number 2 and Barnes being number 3. All right, Barnes ahead of OG right now. I don't know. Barnes did struggle at times last year. Lowry, Markkanen, Randall, or Kristaps. I think Kristaps is clear-cut number 3. I think it's between Lowry and Randall. I'd probably rather have Lowry. So, like, seeing him as a number 1 last year and being pretty efficient. Yeah, so I'm content with how this voting ended up. We got 4... All right, small forwards: Bruce Brown, DeAndre Hunter, Gordon Hayward, Deni Avdija. I do think DeAndre Hunter is the best out of these 4, but like Bruce Brown, if he ends up winning this, I'm okay with that. Yeah, wow. 29% higher than DeAndre Hunter. Then you have Gordon Hayward at 3, And Denny only getting 6%. I thought Gordon Hayward and Denny would be closer. We'll go until I get to like the end of the point guard ones from the positional. So we got Brandon Ingram, DeMar DeRozan, Andrew Wiggins. I actually think it should be in that order. Ingram 1. Whoa! DeRozan, 18% higher than Ingram. I'm honestly shocked. But then again, DeRozan is real. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be that shocked. I'm cool with Wiggins being 3, like I said. All right, maybe I'll let you guys convince me into saying DeRozan's better than Ingram. Like on this day, you know, sure. Kawhi, Butler, or Paul George. I think it should be in that order as well. I know Kawhi's been hurt. But if Jimmy's number 1, you know what? I'm okay with that. Okay, Kawhi's number 1, Jimmy's number 2. Paul George should definitely be number 3. But Jimmy, like, this is the closest maybe he's ever been to Kawhi Leonard. So after this year, if the Clippers don't make the playoffs or Kawhi gets hurt or maybe they have a disappointing exit and Jimmy Butler really carries this Heat team again, I think Jimmy Butler will be a consensus, like, better than Kawhi Leonard guy next, like, going into 2025. We got Brandon Miller, Josh Hart, Tobias Harris, Lou Dort. I do think, honestly, Josh Hart is the best player out of these 4. I think Hart should be 1. I think Dort's offense is bad, but Tobias Harris' defense is bad, and Miller's maybe 2 in experience. So I'd probably say Miller is either 3 or 4. I think Tobias should be 2, Dort 3, Hart 1. Wow. Tobias Harris, 29% higher than Josh Hart. Okay, that is a little shocking in my opinion. We have Keldon Johnson, Lou Dort, DeAndre Hunter, Dylan Brooks. What a photo I chose. Honestly, I think Keldon Johnson is 1, and he did end up being 1. I don't think Dylan Brooks should be 4. I think Dylan Brooks should be closer to Lou Dort, and then DeAndre Hunter should be 2, because both of them aren't great on the offensive end, and they're inefficient at times. And Dylan Brooks is honestly the better perimeter defender than Dort, in my opinion. I know we hate Dylan Brooks, but I think that's facts. We got Jason Tatum, KD, LeBron, and Giannis. I just did best forward next year. I mean, it's Giannis. No brainer. I'm surprised. No. Tatum 2, LeBron 3, KD 4. Yeah, I think the debate is KD or LeBron, who's 3 or 4, which is crazy to say nowadays. Beal, Clay, Mikal, or Levine for best shooting guard out of these 4. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Mikal Bridges. Okay, yeah, he's number 1. Clay 2, Beal 3, Levine 4. I don't know if I would have Clay 2. I honestly think Zach LaVine might be better than Klay Thompson at this point. I think I would have Levine 2. Clay 3 is fine. Beal's 4. I think like Beal and Clay could be interchangeable. Franz, OG, Scotty, or Porter Jr. I'm going to go with... I still think I'm going to go with Franz. Like I said, wow. Okay, so the voting's off here. And Nanobi, like it's cool when you add like a 4th player like Porter, who's the number 1 guy. And now Franz is lower than OG and Scotty. But when I had a poll between Franz, OG, and Scotty, Franz was number 1. So this is interesting. Yeah, maybe I'm slipping the Franz juice too much to say he's better than... I don't know, though. I think he's better than Porter Jr. Jaden Ivey, Rozier, Quickly, or Norman Powell for best shooting guard of these 4. I'm standing on Quickly. Whoa, Ivey, that high? I mean, not right now. I mean, ceiling-wise out of these 4, sure. And maybe at the end of this year, I don't know, though. I think Quickly's better than everybody here. But once again, might be my next bias in me. Derek White, Anthony Simons, Reeves, or Barrett. I'm going to say. It's either, I think... Oh, man. This is tough. I think RJ's probably 4. I think Simons... But it's crazy. I kind of want to say Reeves is 1, but that might be kind of crazy to say. I'll say Simons is 1. Okay, Reeves is 1. I should have stuck with my guy. I do think Reeves is 1. This one also got 600 comments and, like, probably just so toxic in there. Like, if we look through the comments and just see, like, Simons had a damn near 45-point triple-double last season. He's one of the more slept on. RJ's underrated. Derek White's the best. Yeah, it's basically everybody's saying everybody here's the best. And that's when you know it's a good poll. All right, I didn't do too many point guard ones, so we'll just kind of go rapid fire here just to see what you guys have. So Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox. I said Trae Young before. Wow, 71-29. Brandon Ingram or Kyrie Irving. I'm going... Oh, wait. This is for the next 5 years. This was a dumb one. Well, actually, I was like, you know what? Like, how much longer do you think Kyrie Irving's going to be better than Brandon Ingram? Do you think it's at least 2 more years? Then it would be a debate. But, yeah, I get why it's lopsided. We got Mikal Bridges versus Jalen Brunson. I remember... Like, I was going to say Brunson, but I remember being Bridges higher. Then I'm like, you know what, Matt? Maybe you should stop being biased. Donovan Mitchell or Devin Booker. Always going to compare these two. I think... Booker's slightly better right now, still slightly. But going into this year, it was Donovan Mitchell. And then it's like, whoa, it's swapped. It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, it was like Devin Booker going into this year because Mitchell had a bad playoffs against the Mavericks in 2022. And like, even though Booker lost to Luka, and then like Mitchell had the better regular season, but then Booker had the better playoffs. And then they're always going back and forth. Best defender out of these 3, Bam, Smart, or Kawhi. I don't think it's Kawhi. I'm going to go Bam. Wow. Okay, that's kind of shocking. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. That was actually pretty fun to make. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. And let me know in a couple months if you guys want to see me do this again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop a like if you did enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.